Hey Joe. So to answer your question directly, as far as tools to analyze your own form, um, like video is the biggest thing, but you also need to have a significant knowledge base to know what you're looking at, to recognize problems and know what they need to change to. So maybe a good place to start for you with that might be my YouTube channel. I have three um, videos that are focused on beginning players up on there. Those are probably a good place to start. The video quality is not good. The audio is a little low, but the content is still pretty solid, I think. So I would start with those. I'll get you a link to my channel. And feel free to ask questions if any of that stuff doesn't make sense. But let's jump into your throw. So in the beginning here, you just look kind of stiff, and your arms are both on the disc and locked out. Um, so let's make that a little more fluid. So what I want you to do is, instead of holding the disc out here like you really don't want to smell it under any circumstances, sight on that position, like imagine where you're going to release the disc in space towards the target, and then bring the disc back into your chest, into your power pocket position. This will help you set that position in your muscle memory, so when you reach back, you'll come right back to that same power pocket position. And just relax, like shake your shoulders out before you throw, because you want everything to be loose and explosive when you throw. So don't be stiff, don't do that reach out thing, just keep the disc in your power pocket. Now, as far as your footwork goes, this step right here, your X step, the one that goes behind you, is too long, and it's going too far behind you, and your weight is starting to tip backwards. So I want to see this step be closer to your front foot here, and I want you to commit to the idea of keeping your toes pointed straight towards the camera, so 90 degrees off of your line of throw. Moving forward, so because of that, you turn your hips too far back, you turn your shoulders to, I don't want to say that's too far back, it's okay to get your shoulders to that point, but your shoulders are too far back relative to your point of balance. So you want your spine to stay upright. So if your shoulder would be right here, if you were where I wanted you to be, and you're already basically at peak reach back, this is way too early. You want peak reach back to hit when your brace heel comes down, not your toe, but your heel. So you're going to set the toe down first and then rock the weight into the heel. When the heel comes down is when you hit peak reach back. So let's see if you're actually at peak. Yeah, so I did a quick pause and your disc didn't move forward quickly. So you're at peak reach back way too early, way before your brace is set up. So you gotta link those two things in time. So your X step is too far back, too long, toes too back, and causes you to start leaning. Your reach back is way early and too far back and causing you to lean more. And your reach back is also rounding. So this is one of the videos that I did is entirely about rounding. So your disc cannot see your target. Your chest and your shoulders are in the way of the disc going straight forward. The disc isn't going to go straight forward. It's going to go from out to in to out, but you want to reach it back to more of this position so that there's space for it to coil in to your chest, into your power pockets, but it'll actually go in towards you a little bit here, then it'll go out away from you a little bit, and then it'll boop around your fingers when it rips out and releases and go back this way a little bit more. So this is kind of like a top view, but also kind of a perspective view. It's kind of confused is what it is. But you want to reach out wider so the disc would be closer to the camera from us. So drawing that in perspective puts it like here. And then it'll go back into your chest and it'll go back out this way. So wider reach back and an out in out swing path. So this knee is suspect. That's not a position you ever want to be in, because the toes are pointed too far back. So the knee is pointed too far back. So the hips are pointed too far back. and so on. So instead what I want to see is I want to see a more athletic position where you're up on the ball of your foot. And instead of your knee pointing backwards, I want to see your knee dip inwards a little bit. Your hips will stay flatter to the camera so that your front leg can reach out and plant toes 90 degrees, the same as the back foot. So don't let that knee bend like that. Don't let the rear knee toes creep too far backwards. You're reaching back too early. The problem, well, there's a lot of problems with reaching back too early, but the biggest one is this lean, because you then have to correct that lean and tip forward. So if I go back, so you're here, and then can't draw lines. You've fixed your lean there. You're also collapsing in your brace foot way too much. This needs to stay strong and stout and right there, and it should probably actually move forward even more. But this, from this spine tilt to this spine tilt, because the distance where your foot was, because that closed, your reach back was here, and then the disc ended up higher than that. So the disc goes, let's just draw it for completion. So the disc is here. So you actually, you keep it even for a while, but then it ends up here, and then it scoops down to here. So because you've tipped forward off of your X step, your swing plane goes from high to low, and that's gonna hurt your efficiency usually, unless you're a pro and you know what you're doing, which doesn't seem to be the case. I don't believe you are on the pro tour yet. But it'll also introduce a lot of wobble coming out of your hand, which will screw everything up. Screws up your distance, screws up your accuracy, screws up your angle integrity of knowing where the disc is gonna end up on a hyzer or an anhyzer. So make sure you're not tipping and your reach back, and the way you fix that is your footwork. So the best resource I have on footwork besides my video is Brian Earhart's X Step Deep Dive video. So I'll get you a link to that one and a link to my channel. Just write notes for that. So you also end up with a decent shoulder shrug. Decent meaning way too much. So that is no good. Not what I meant. This is why you don't change your hotkeys, because then everything is wrong. Okay, so your shoulder being shrugged up this high really doesn't work, because it chokes off your power pocket, and the disc is too far behind you because you were rounding and all of this stuff. So the name of the game in disc golf is making space. So when you reach back, you need to reach out this way to make space for your shoulders to be here, and when you then pull through, you need to preserve space for your power pocket. And we'll stop there for now. So I can demo those two things for you real quick. Sometimes it's easier to see it than hear it. So don't shrug that shoulder, and then you really don't have any kind of a brace yet. You're just totally falling forward over past that foot. Yeah, so watch my video on bracing to get the basic concept of that. And I'll demo a reach back for you real quick here, and just kind of what the whole throw is going to look like posture wise, I guess. Okay, so I'm not even going to try to demo what you're doing because I don't think that's useful, but what I want to see. So if I'm throwing this way, I'll do abbreviated footwork because I don't have that much camera room. So rather than starting here and turning mechanically like this, I want you to sight however you want to sight, and then bring the disc into your chest here and make this power pocket. So you're going to go from a reach back with your Shoulders turned all the way to 90, maybe farther. Lots of space here. You're not directly behind you. You're, you know, a good 30, 35 degrees out. You're going to take this offhand, shoot it down, and pull the disc in to your power pocket somewhere near the center of your chest with a 90-degree bend and a 90-degree bend. And then you're going to let the disc pop out of your chest from there. If that doesn't make sense, check out the Hula Drill, which is just doing this a bunch, getting used to that swing plane being nice and clean, and then let the disc break in, let your elbow break in here so that it will snap out at the end. And then it should feel like the energy is going almost straight down, maybe towards your right foot. So not there, but there. Oh. That's where power comes from, is that little whip, that little unwind of the curl. And it needs to come out from your chest, not out over there. There's more nuance with the shoulders on that one later, but sighting, power pocket, you're gonna do the footwork as in the video. X step, on your X step, you're gonna coil and reach back and reach your other foot forward. Offhand comes in, power pocket, out. And you're gonna stay up on this foot, not crumple down over this foot, right? So I mean, maybe you should start with one steps, honestly. There's a video on one step that I'll get on my channel very shortly. So you could even start with stepping and throwing there, and just focus on keeping this leg strong so that you can pivot and keep it here, and then pivot on the heel. Just don't crumple over that leg. I think that's the point to start with. Ask questions if any of that doesn't make sense. And good luck.